Can an election be bought? Hmm. Hello, this is Carrie O'Donnell from Tarot Soul Writer. And if you would like a personal reading with me, please go to my website, tarotsoulwriter.com, and I'd be happy to do a reading for you. I hope everybody had a happy holiday. I know I did. In today's video, we are going to reflect on July 2024 predictions. A lot of my predictions at this point have gotten off track, but surprisingly, there were some undertones in my July predictions that I do believe I just didn't have the context for, but my guides were right on as far as what was going to happen. So let's begin. My first set of predictions talked about big money in the news, corruption with money, the economy, etc. I had said, keep it close to home, and how can we recover what was lost? And the people were afraid and anxious. So the first thing that I'm getting is money. I wrote, money is a huge theme for July. The United States as a whole is doing well financially. So there's going to be a little bit of an upturn in the economy, something that people are really feeling. The focus will now be on how we can improve the economy here at home. I actually heard the words, keep it close to home. Discussion of money and the economy, especially with the Dems and remaining Republicans, will be a big thing around election campaigning. How can we recover what was lost? It will be clear by July how much money was wasted, how many resources were only used by the rich, and we are going to see financial corruption at its highest level. This really encompassed the overall feeling around the economy in July. There was an upturn in the U.S. economy. In April, the Wall Street Journal even said that our economy was the envy of the world. That growth continued into July, and inflation was under control. However, nearly half of Americans rated the economy as poor in July. Inflation was the number one issue. So for common goods, housing, food, gas, people still perceived that the economy was not working for them. This financial corruption at its highest level. We begin to see a little shenanigans with Elon Musk at this point and other oligarchs. They begin to show signs of corruption with the election. And soon we will learn, can an election be bought? The meeting, trading, and negotiating with the world, especially with China. We must begin engaging with the world again. Meeting, trading, negotiating. And I also feel that China is going to be part of this. I get new trade deals and ongoing talks about money. There were ongoing deals with China at this time, but I think one of the biggest issues here, especially with China in July, was Trump's talk of implementing tariffs against China. A little bit later, we're really going to see more Canada and Mexico. He felt this was a way that we would get rich. At the Republican convention, as part of the Republican platform, we have rebalancing of trade. There was a trade deficit in goods and services, and they want to support baseline tariffs on foreign-made goods, pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, and respond to unfair trading practices. As tariffs on foreign producers go up, taxes on American workers, families, and businesses can come down. I don't think so, but that's what they were selling. Secure strategic independence from China was also part of their platform. They say Republicans will revoke China's most favored national status, phase out imports of essential goods, and stop China from buying American real estate and industries. Good luck with that. That was also in the news and part of the Republican convention platform that was put forward in July. The next big issue that I was getting in my reading was education, teachers, and student loans. The other topic that will be hot in July will be education, teachers, and what they're going through. And also issues with student loans. Once again, it's going to pop up. We're seeing that Biden's finding other ways to actually cancel student loans, and I feel like there will be a new wave of this in July. Although I predicted that Biden would be able to cancel more student loans, the opposite actually happened in July. On July 19th, student loan payments under the SAFE plan was put on hold. The federal appeals court blocked the remainder of Biden's student loan relief plan. So this is the opposite of what I got. The interesting thing, though, is as of late, the last couple months, November and December, he has found a few other avenues for cancellation a little bit later here after the election. So we'll see if that holds up. But although I was optimistic in feeling he would actually cancel more student loans, the opposite happened, and there were more barriers to cancellation in July. So I did get this prediction wrong. I had this vision that this new Republican Party that isn't MAGA would be working more with Democrats to get resources to schools who need it. But in fact, as we know from previous predictions, the party that won in this battle for divorce was MAGA, not the old guard. They were not going to work with Democrats. So because I got that stream of energy wrong, there were no resources going to the people who need it most for education. In fact, Republicans weren't working with Democrats at all. In Project 2025, they want to take away resources from public schools, and they want to abolish the Department of Education. So I definitely got this wrong. My next big issue was the environment. I especially felt that we were going to have a particularly hot summer, and that would really peak in July. Another huge issue in the news will be the environment. And this is a variety of things that are happening between seismic shifts and fires and rising temperatures as we move into the summer period. In July, we're going to be in the heart of the summer and the heart of the heat. And it's when it heats up that people that feel the environmental impact the most. And we're going to see storms that arise from these hot temperatures. Everything from hurricanes, tornadoes, strange microbursts, all of it. What I wrote was, world leaders may be uniting again to discuss the environment. At the very least, I feel Americans will discuss this on the campaign trail. I was right on this. Globally, June through August 2024 was Earth's hottest season on record, during which the planet had its single hottest day on record on July 22nd. I had also said that because of the extreme heat, that we would also see an uptick in extreme storms. On July 1st, Beryl became the earliest Category 5 hurricane and the second Category 5 on record during the month of July in the Atlantic Ocean. On July 15th, a derecho that spawned 32 tornadoes broke the Chicago area record for most tornadoes in a day. And Alaska had its wettest July on record. I couldn't find any specific international collaborations in order to look at the environment and its changes at that particular time. So I got that part of the prediction wrong. In fact, in the election, both sides, Republican and Democrat, only talk about environmental issues as footnotes, The Republicans, they're basically take away all the regulations and screw the environment, basically. And the Democrats only talk about helping the environment in vague ways, not really prioritizing those plans. So long-term plans are not discussed by either party. MAGA. This is where it gets a little interesting. I got MAGA a bit confused. What is the message that I should be following now? I wrote, as if I was someone who followed Trump. Truth is upside down. What is true? What has been promised has not come to fruition. It was all entertainment. We are not winning. But I also got there's still anger and a need for vengeance. I think that confusion came from this idea that I saw the party split and I see a better Republican Party that's in control now, not giving all the lies to MAGA, collaborating with Dems on some of the messaging. But in fact, I don't think MAGA was confused during this time. But there is a huge event that happens here, and it affects what I heard from my guides moving forward. And that is the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And I believe that was on July 13th. What we do know about this assassination attempt is the person who pulled the trigger was also a Trump supporter, or may have been part at some point with the MAGA movement. And yet he was the one to turn against Trump. That does kind of say that there may have been some confusion there. I don't know in which way this confusion went. I don't know if he was influenced by someone else, or if he had just gotten in his mind that something was supposed to happen and it didn't. But he turned against the person that he said he supported. This could be part of the confusion that I was feeling. I also said that Trump would be an even stronger mythical person in MAGA's mind. And that's true. As we saw at the convention, he came in, he was somber, he was bandaged with his ear. Everybody else put women's products on their ears, I guess, and in support and solidarity. And the fact that he had defied death made him even more of a mythical creature. And this goes on to my next prediction, where I cryptically noted that my guide said, now is a dead leader. I hear, now a dead leader. And I don't know if this is literal or not. I'm getting almost two paths here, to be honest. I feel like that either those heart issues that I had gotten in previous videos, if those issues go to an extreme, there's a possibility that he may not be here. But mostly, I'm getting he may be here, but in some way he's being separated from us. For the MAGA folks, I got this. Now a dead leader. For some, he is perpetually frozen in perfection. A sleeping hero who will return in a time of need, like King Arthur. The myth of the king. This is super interesting because we have two things that could have happened here. I had given all these explanations that I thought, based on the context I had months and months before. But now it's like this could be a couple things. A dead leader. I said it could be figurative or literal. Could it be Biden? Because Biden drops out of the presidential race on July 21st. Figuratively, is this the death of a leader? Or is it Trump himself? Did he truly defy death? Was this an exit point for him? The way I had read the energy, where he may have been held accountable in January 6th. Think about that. He wasn't held accountable. He was made immune. If that hadn't happened, if they hadn't ruled presidential immunity in his favor, or he was held accountable before that and the trial went forward, there would have been information out on him that the public would have seen that would have interfered in the election at this point. I think that's the energy I was following. Could it have been that if there was an attempted assassination, was there a possibility that he may not have survived it? I just think it's very interesting considering the happenings that there seems to be a lot of different waypoints. But again, maybe it symbolized more Joe Biden and the fact that he dropped out of the presidential race. I talked about Trump being isolated by his own government, isolated and protected from outside attacks. This could also be because of the assassination attempt. They may not have wanted him to go out into public or to do rallies. They might have been concerned about his well-being. They may have had to beef up security at this convention. I don't know. There were a lot of rumors around that time that he was a little off kilter, and that may have been what I was picking up. I also said that he would have issues with taxes, and that would be highlighted in July. Issues with his taxes will be highlighted in July. In fact, I didn't see any story where taxes were a concern at all. Most of the news cycle was consumed by the convention and this assassination attempt. I had said that people would start to walk away from Trump. And I wasn't just talking about MAGA, but other people who were connected to Trump for their own, say, financial benefit or their own political benefits. A lot of them are just going to turn for a new leader or a new donor, a new follower. It depends on what you're trying to get out of this situation. There are a lot of reasons why Trump had followers. There are different levels of followers. You had the masses, but you also had a lot of people who were benefiting from Trump, who were using him as a cash cow, using his power so that they could benefit. And I feel like those people are just walking away. But in July, at this point, nobody was walking away, although there were many groups using Trump for their own agendas that were starting to arise. People like the backers of the 2025 project. Trump would constantly say, no, I have nothing to do with them. But they were part of his group, his supporters, and they were using that for their Christian nationalist agenda. They were using him. And then you had other people like the tech bros, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and so forth. And they had their own agenda. They, at this point, were pumping money into his campaign in order to get what they wanted from Donald Trump. That was all starting to come together in July. My next set of predictions was on Joe Biden. We know he drops out on July 21st, and it may have been the now a dead leader prophecy that was connected to Joe. I focused on a speech that he would give. And I feel I got this right. I'm very convinced that it's the speech he gave for dropping out of the presidential race. In the speech, he calls for unity. Throughout my soul writing sessions, I keep getting words like what I had literally just read that almost feel like pieces of a speech. And I keep getting this vision of Biden giving a speech, or maybe these are little sound bites or little moments that are coming forward in the news. But I almost feel like this is the message being given to the American people by its leadership. I get that this month, Biden will have some of his finest moments. And again, I keep getting a speech. I know it's not the convention. Democratic convention is in August. There is some speech that I'm getting for the American people. I wrote, decisions made now will affect the next 7 generations. New solutions to old problems begin to emerge. But I'm still stressed, restless, and anxious. We are all tired, so very tired. Biden will guide us during this time through knowledge and wisdom accumulated. New ideas, a new start. Biden calls for unity. He calls for the Dems to unite with the new Republican Party. Join forces. We have some difficult decisions to make. We need the courage to move forward with action. So there's some call here, a call for unification. And that's why this will be remembered as one of Biden's finest moments. Because in a time when our country could split even more, dangerously so, he is going to, through his words, rile us back together. Honestly, this is going to be on par in history. This speech that I see, kind of on par with, say, the Gettysburg Address with Lincoln. I feel like, yeah, maybe not right off you would think about it, but 100 years down the road, you will read the speech. And it will be one of those moments, those presidential speeches that we study in school. At the end of his speech, he says, "We're the United States of America, and there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together, preserve our democracy." I said that the speech would be historically significant, and I actually still believe that. If anything, it will be studied because this is such an unprecedented time in history. It is a turning point in the United States. I don't know if they will study this as a moment when he stepped down and democracy was lost, or will it be studied that he gave the speech, dropped out of the race, and people did come together in order to make our country even better? The jury is out on this one. We're still working through that future. In my final message, my guide said that America was holding up a mirror, examining our own darkness collectively. This is the beginning of America reckoning with our darkness. The funny thing is, as I've been doing these little videos, this was the first one as I was researching it and trying to find things that happened in the news that correlated with my reading. I felt so much anxiety. I felt so much looking back on July. I think July was just so energetically important, probably more than I even imagined. I thought of June as the rocky month, but in fact, it was July. July was pivotal. July, so many things happened, I think, to move us on different energy lines. And all our decisions led up to what ultimately happened in the election. And a lot of that started right in this month. Fascinating to me. And it's not over. We're still making those decisions. So that is my recap of July 2024. If you like my video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with all your friends. I'll be back tomorrow with a short update on August 2024 predictions. Until then, you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.